going on, everybody? This is your tour guide around Swag C Wells coming at you with another video today. Y'all make sure y'all lock in with us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and become a part of the Swag Talk family by becoming a member. 99 cents gets you a membership to the YouTube channel. We have special perks coming at you. We're going to be dropping special members only videos and shorts. I'm going to have rants and reactions to different things that I want to put there. So if you want to get everything, man, become a member of the Swag Talk crew for 99 cents and get down with the get down, man. And so we're going to still be bringing y'all a lot of stuff, swag smoke and everything like that, and all our normal videos. But we also bring y'all that membership tier. So get down with that. Check out the Facebook and Instagram, both Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. And now let's get on with the show, man. Let's do it.
Welcome to the show, see Bojo Guy. Wednesday, Sundays, catch the ride. Football hoops, we breaking wide. Stats and facts, truth on high. Swag Talk where the combo's real. From Texas to Florida, we seal the deal. Just pull up, the vibes are real. Chopping it up, we spin the wheel. Hit the corner of the field, we strategize. Breaking the game down, no disguise. Play by play, we analyze. Eyewear sharp, we magnify. Swag Talk where the combo's real. From Texas to Florida, we seal the deal. Just pull up, the vibes are real. Chopping it up, we spin the wheel. Wednesdays, heat, Sundays, ignite. We talking legends shining bright. Back and forth, day or night. This the plug, we bring the light. Swag Talk with the combos real. From Texas to Florida, we seal the deal. Cats pull up, the vibes are real. Chopping it up, we spin the wheel. Wednesdays, heat, Sundays, ignite. We talking legends shining bright. Back and forth, day or night. This the plug, we bring the light. Swag Talk with the combos real. From Texas to Florida, we seal the deal. Cats pull up, the vibes are real. Chopping it up, we spin the wheel.
All right, everybody, what's going on, man? How y'all doing, man? Of course, this tour guide around the Swag C Wells coming at you. And we're going to recap week 3, man. It's been an interesting non-conference period of the season, man. Now, a lot of teams still got answers, man, and a lot of these games did not necessarily go the way that you would have expected them to go. Some did, but some didn't. And so we'll talk about these games and get ready for week 4. Swag play starts on the 27th, so we got 2 weeks before Swag play. We got another Saturday before we get into Swag play. So we're gonna run through these games, but of course, before we do, man, you see the shirt, man, you see the gear, the yardapparelbrand.com. Definitely check them out, man. They got a lot of good stuff on their site, man. They got a lot of good stuff, really nice, well constructed shirts and things. So, man, like I said, I'm blessed. And y'all keep on holding it down with them. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get into this. We're gonna start off with our game of the week, and it actually was probably one of the better games of the day. And that's Alabama A&M picking up a 23-21 victory over Tennessee State. This game was actually kind of a game of runs. Bama A&M opened up the game with a 10-0 run before Tennessee State scored 21 unanswered. Excuse me, before they scored 14 unanswered. Then A&M got a field goal. Tennessee State got a touchdown to go into the half at 21-13. Alabama A&M will get 10 points in the third quarter to basically take the lead for good. Victor Barbosa got the Bulldogs on the board first with a 26-yard field goal. 8:25 left in the first quarter, 3-0. Miles Parker caught a 5-yard pass from Quad Brown. Kept a 8-play, 98-yard drive that took 2:39 off the clock. That came with 13:51 left in the second quarter. Bulldogs led 10-0. 10:07 left in the second quarter. Kendrick Grimes will get a 5-yard touchdown run for Tennessee State. Extra point good, 10-7. Zach Simmons Brown will get a 27-yard run for the Tigers to put them up 14-0 after the extra point. They came with 4:29 left in the first half, 1:39 left in the half. Barbosa will get a 26-yard field goal for the Bulldogs, 14-13. Then with 11 seconds left in the first half, Kendrick Grimes will catch a 22-yard pass, get a 22-yard pass from Byron McNair for a touchdown. Extra point good, 21-13. That would be our halftime score. 8:49 left in the third quarter. Davion Walker, 30-yard pass from Quad Brown will put the Bulldogs down 20-21. With like I said, 8:49 left in the third, and then with 51 seconds left in the third, Victor Barbosa will kick a 45-yard field goal to make the score 23-21. And after that, neither team really did much with the ball. A&M, they had 4 possessions after that. They went 3 and out twice. They went 4 plays and punt on their third possession, and then their final possession after Tennessee State fumbled the ball. They ran the clock out and went 5 plays, 25 yards, ran the clock out. Tennessee State in their final possessions, they threw an interception after going 5 after running 5 plays. Their next drive, they went 7 plays and 35 yards and ended up punting on the A&M 45. They went 3 and out on the next possession, punting from the A&M 49, and then they would fumble the ball on their last possession at their own 33-yard line after going 5 plays, 17 yards. So nothing much happened after A&M scored their final points. So the game kind of was a stalemate from there. 19 first down for the Bulldogs, 21 for the Tigers. 67 yards on the ground for A&M, 28 carries, 2.4 yards per carry, no touchdowns. 179 on the ground for Tennessee State, 41 carries, 4.4 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. 355 through the air for the Bulldogs, 23 of 35, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 157 through the air for the Tigers, 17 of 21, 17 of 27, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 422 yards of offense for the Bulldogs, 63 plays, 6.7 yards per play. They fumbled once, did not lose it. They had 9 penalties for 81 yards. 336 yards of offense for the Tigers, 68 plays, 4.9 yards per play. They fumbled twice and lost 1. 4 penalties for 35 yards. Bulldogs punted 5 times for 46-yard average. Tigers 6 for 38. A&M was counting possession 24-16 for the Bulldogs. 3 of 12 on third down, one on fourth down, 3 of 4 in the red zone. They would have 4 sacks, 2 of 2 on extra points, 3 of 3 on field goals. 35-44 time of possession for the Tigers. 7 of 15 on third down. Did not attempt a fourth down. 1 of 1 in the red zone. They had 2 sacks, and they were 3 of 3 on extra points. Quad Brown, 21 of 33 for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. Byron McNair, 17 for 27, 157 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. Maurice Edwards, 10 carries, 38 yards for the Bulldogs. Kendrick Grimes, 24 carries, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown for the Tigers. Trevante Abner had 6 catches for 104 yards for the Bulldogs. Rhymes led the Tigers with 7 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. John Robinson led the Bulldogs with 9 tackles. Demetrius Biombi had 2 tackles for loss. He also had a sack. Wyatt Wright, Renzo Davis, and Kylon Roberts also had sacks to lead the defense. Interception was by Joshua Bledsoe. Forced fumble was by Wright and Brown. One recovery was by Booker. Tennessee State was led by Keaki Baker with 11 tackles. He also led the team with 2 tackles for loss. Sacks were by Gray and Focosi. Forced fumble was by Focosi. And interception, none. So, like I said, this was a really good game, man. It was an entertaining game. I thought both teams got after it. Looked like A&M was gonna run away with it at first, and then it looked like Tennessee State was gonna run away with it, and then A&M kind of got their bearings back, and then fourth quarter was kind of what it was. But I thought that this was a very entertaining game for the most part between two teams that were really getting after it. Um, our next game, this game, the score is not quite as indicative of the game, but Bethune Cookman was able to put some points on the board regardless against South Carolina State, ultimately losing 55-41. This game was basically over. Well, I don't want to say over, but this South Carolina State basically had this game in control by the half, going into the half of 27-7. They jumped out to a 27-0 lead before Bethune Cookman would score. Um, Ryan Stubblefield got a 3-yard run for the Bulldogs with 10:20 left in the first quarter to put them up 7-0 at the extra point. They will get a Casey Adams 1-yard run with 6:09 left in the first quarter, put the Bulldogs up 14-0 at the extra point. And Malik Hart will have a 4-yard scoop and score for the Bulldogs at the extra point, 21-0. That came with 4:39 left in the first. Nico Alidi would get a 44-yard field goal for the Bulldogs with 13 seconds left in the first quarter. That made the score 24-0. Then he would get a 41-yard field goal with 10:20 left in the half to put the Bulldogs at 27-0 before Cam Ransom got the Wildcats on the board with a 2-yard run with 1:56 left in the half. That made the score 27-7 after the extra point. Start the third quarter. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, will get a 19-yard pass from Cam Ransom. 27-13. Extra point was no good. There was 11-17 left in the third quarter. Stubblefield 13-yard run for the Bulldogs. Extra point good. 34-13 with 7:53 left in the third. And then with 4 seconds left in the third, Jordan Smith will catch an 8-yard pass from Stubblefield. Extra point good. 41-13. At that point, South Carolina State was basically cruising. Fourth quarter, Malik Huggins 52-yard pass from Ransom. Extra point good, 20-41 with 13:50 left in the game. 9:01 left in the game. 11-yard run. It doesn't credit anybody. Extra point good, 41-27. Mason Pickett Hicks will get a 69-yard run for South Carolina State with 6:54 left in the game. Extra point good, 48-27. Lorenzo Jenkins, 21-yard pass from Cam Ransom with 3:58 left in the game, 48-34. Tyler Smith, 2-yard run for South Carolina State with 41 seconds left in the game, the 55-34. And then Malik Huggins will get a 35-yard pass from Cam Ransom, extra point good. That came with 7 seconds left in the game, 55-41. So this was a game that, like I said, Bethune-Cookman was basically out of it by the end of the third. The end of the third quarter, they were trailing 41-20, and they were able to put some points on the board, scored 28 points in the fourth quarter to make this game look a lot closer than what it was. 29 first downs for the Wildcats, 28 for the Bulldogs, 182 yards on the ground for Bethune-Cookman, 34 carries, 5.4 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. 226 on the ground for the Bulldogs, 37 carries, 6.1 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. 325 through the air for the Wildcats, 23-38, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. 335 through the air for the Bulldogs, 22-37, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 507 yards for the Wildcats, 72 plays, 7 yards per play. They fumbled twice, lost both. They had 7 penalties for 69 yards. South Carolina State, 561 yards of offense, 74 plays, 7.6 yards per play, no fumbles. They had 5 penalties for 50 yards. Bethune-Cookman punted twice for a 47-yard average. South Carolina State twice for a 38.5-yard average. 31-26 time of possession for the Wildcats, 3 of 10 on third down, 2 of 3 on fourth down. They finished 3 of 4 in the red zone. They had 1 sack, 5 of 6 on extra points. No field goals attempted. 28-34 time of possession for South Carolina State, 9 of 13 on third down. Didn't attempt a fourth down, 7 of 7 in the red zone, 1 or 2, 1 sack. They had, and then they were 7 of 7 on extra points and 2 of 2 on field goals. Individually, Ransom 20 of 30 for 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. Stubblefield, 21 of 35, 286 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 1 sack. Bransom led the Wildcats with 11 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. Mason Pickett Hicks, 4 carries, 87 yards and a touchdown to lead the Bulldogs. Malik Huggins, 8 for 148 and 2 touchdowns through the air. Jordan Smith, 9 for 87 and a touchdown. Defensively, Antoine Watts led the Wildcats with 7 tackles. Adrian Hall had a tackle for loss to lead the team, and he also had a sack to lead the team. Forced fumbles, no interceptions. South Carolina State was led by Roger Kelly with 11 tackles. Looms, 2 tackles for loss to lead the defense. Chisholm had the sack. Forced fumble credited to the team. Recovery credited to the team. Interception was by Levine. So, like I said, this game ended up looking a lot closer than probably than what it was. I mean, when you up by 21, basically, late going into the fourth quarter, it basically was a stalemate after that. Team traded points, but Bethune-Cookman was able to put some points on the board and show a little something. I'm not gonna punish them for kind of fighting and staying in the game. You could have easily packed it in and said that this was it for us. We did our best, and we took our licks, and now we're gonna get up out of here. But they did what they need. They fought, and maybe they can get them some momentum moving forward. We'll just have to see. I mean, that does show that regardless of who's on the field, they can move the ball and score some points. That's always a positive to take away from this. Next up, we have Texas Southern dropping a 31-7 decision to Lamar Tigers. Basically, after the first quarter, kind of ran out of gas in this one. It was a 7-7 game early in the first quarter before Lamar would score 24 an ounce of points in this game and basically just kind of pull away from Texas Southern. Lamar got on the board first with a 18-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. 13:48 left in the first quarter. They were 7-0. Anthony Renfro will get the Tigers on the board with 10:31 left in the first quarter with a 7-yard run, extra point good, 7-7. Aiden McCown will get a 13-yard run for the Cardinals, extra point good. That came with 6:35 left in the first. That made the score 14-7. Josh Robinson will get I'm assuming this was off a block punt, 4-yard return for a touchdown, 21-7. That came with 13:37 left in the first half. 21-7. Damian Moore will get a 3-yard run for the Cardinals with 45 seconds left in the first half. Extra point good, 28-7. And then with 14:50 left in the game, Ben Woodard will get a 23-yard field goal to make the score 31-7. Lamar, 21 first downs, Texas Southern 11. Lamar, 252 yards on the ground, 42 carries, 6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Texas Southern, 143 on the ground, 31 carries, 4.6 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Neither team did anything passing the ball. Lamar, 81 yards passing, 12 of 21, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Texas Southern, 53 yards through the air, 13 of 23, no touchdowns, 1 interception. 333 yards of offense for the Cardinals. 64 plays, 5.2 yards per play, no fumbles. They had 4 penalties for 40 yards. Tigers, 196 yards on 54 plays, 3.6 yards per play. They had 1 fumble and lost it. 4 penalties, 4 penalties, 35 yards. Lamar, 3 points for 37-yard average. Texas Southern, 6 for 32.5. 32-28 time of possession for the Cardinals. 5 of 11 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down. 3 of 3 in the red zone. They had 5 sacks. They had 4 extra points and 1 on 1 on field goals. 27-22 for Texas Southern. 3 of 13 third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down. They were 1 or 2 in the red zone. They had no sacks, and they were 1 for 1 on extra points and 0 for 1 on field goals. Individually, McCown, 12 of 22 for 81 yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception, no sacks. Cooper, 13 of 23 for 53 yards, no touchdown, 1 interception, 5 sacks. Uh, McDowell, 11 carries, 92 yards for Lamar. Renfro, 10 for 77 and a touchdown. Gibbs, 2 for 31 to lead the Cardinals. Phipps, 1 for 24 to lead Texas Southern. Pugh had 5 tackles to lead the Cardinals. Maloles also had 5 tackles to lead the defense. Christian, 1.5 tackles for loss. Huff, 1.5 tackles for loss. They both had sack and a half apiece. Forced fumble was by Malone. Recovery was by Jones. And interception was by Brown. Bogarty, 11 tackles for Texas Southern to lead them. Booker and Cooks each had a tackle for loss apiece. No sacks, no forced fumbles. Interception was by Hardman. So this was just, as you could see, TSU really couldn't get a lot going offensively, especially through the air. The passing game just wasn't there. And, they really kind of caught up with them in a game like this where the opportunities to make those plays are there. But you have to be able to take advantage of them. Lamar was able to do their damage in the first half and then basically just, hold steady to the end. So all in all, not a great look in this one. TSU drops their 3rd straight game to open up the season, and we'll see how they move forward. Valley dropped a 56-3 loss to Southeastern on Saturday. Lions led this game 28-3 after 1. They were up 42-3 at the half, and then they scored 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter to make the final score 56-3. And they were able to basically do whatever they wanted in this game. Valley finished with 9 first downs. Southeastern 19. 103 on the ground for Valley, 38 plays, 2.7 yards per carry, no touchdowns. Southeastern 143 yards on the ground, 32 carries, 4.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Valley 61 yards through the air, 11 of 16, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 302 yards of offense, 302 yards of passing offense for the Lions, 16 of 20, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 164 yards of offense for Valley. 54 plays, 3 yards per play. They had 2 fumbles and lost 1. 7 penalties for 55 yards. 445 for the Lions, 52 plays, 8.6 yards per play. No fumbles. They would have 4 penalties for 35 yards. 8 punts for Valley for 33.5 yard average. Southeastern punted one time for 39 yards. Valley had the ball 30 minutes, 50 seconds. 2 of 12 on 3rd down, 0 for 1 on 4th down, no trips in the red zone, no sacks, no extra points, 1 for 1 on field goals. So really they had no real true scoring opportunities other than that field goal that they kicked. 29-10 time possession for the Lions, 5 of 9 on 3rd down, 0 for 2 on 4th down, 4 of 5 in the red zone. They had 3 sacks, 8 of 8 on extra points, and 0 for 1 on field goals. Valley was led by Josh Brown going 10 of 14 for 62 yards and a touchdown. An interception and 2 sacks. Kyle Lowe, 8 of 8, 155 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interception, no sacks. Carson Camp, 8 of 12, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Norman Taylor led Valley with 6 carries for 54 yards. Calvin Smith, 14 carries for 69 yards for Southeastern. Cameron Nelson, 2 catches, 26 yards for Valley. Jalen Domingo, 4 catches, 82 yards, 3 touchdowns for Southeastern. Khalil Hunter led Valley with 6 tackles. They had 4 people with a half a tackle for loss apiece. No sacks, like I said, no forced fumbles, no interceptions. Southeastern was led by KK Reno with 6 tackles. Also, Jareel Johnson had 6 tackles. Reno and Proctor each had a tackle and a half. Tackle and a half for loss. Brewer, Briggs, and Bradley each had a sack piece. Briggs and Aubrey had forced fumbles. recovery by Reno. Interception went to Delahousse. So, like I said, this was just one of those games, man. Back-to-back rough outings for Valley. Um, you know, they just kind of running into the buzzsaw right now. Um, not a lot, not a lot to really take away from this, other than the fact that they are kind of coming up on the short end in recent weeks. So we'll just continue to see if they can get competitive and fix some of the issues that they've been having in recent weeks. Next up, Jackson State defeated Tuskegee 30-0. This game was basically um, the Jared Lockhart show. He got the start. He scored um, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He threw for one. Um, and Jackson State was able to just kind of get some guys some reps out here and go from there. Lockhart 11-yard run for a touchdown to open up the scoring. That came with 11:53 left in the first quarter, 7-0. After extra point, he got a 6-yard run with 14:07 left in the second quarter. Extra point good, 14-0. He threw pass to Jamil Gardner Jr. from 21 yards out. Extra point good, 21-0. 1:55 left in the half. Then with 4:28 left in the third, Reed Pulliam got a safety, 23-0. And then Parker Stouffer, 1-yard run for Jackson State, extra point good. That came with 8 seconds left in the third. That made us score 30-0. And that would be the final score. Seven first down for Tuskegee, 25 for Jackson State, 24 yards on the ground for Tuskegee, 20 carries, 1.2 yard per carry, no touchdowns. 252 on the ground for Jackson State, 50 carries, 5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns, 85 yards through the air for Tuskegee, 11 of 20, no touchdown, no interceptions. 259 through the air for Jackson State, 15 of 22, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 109 yards of offense for the Golden Tigers, 40 plays, 2.7 yards per play, no fumbles, 7 penalties, 36 yards. 511 total offense for Jackson State, 72 plays, 7.1 yards per play. They fumbled 3 times and didn't lose any. And they also had 10 penalties for 113 yards. So you can kind of see what kept this score a little bit lower than probably what it could have been. They had an interception. They had a ton of penalties. Um, and so, they didn't necessarily play the cleanest game that they could have, but they were still able to take care of business. 7 punts for 39.7 yard average for Tuskegee, 3 for 39.3 for Jackson State, 23-22 time possession for the Golden Tigers, 2 of 11 on third down. Then attempted 4th down, didn't get in the red zone. They had 1 sack, obviously no extra points. They did miss 2 field goals, 36-38. Time of possession with Jackson State, 8 of 13 on third down, 1 on 4th down. They had 4 sacks. They were they were 4 of 7 in the red zone, excuse me. 1 sack, 4 of 4 on extra points, 0 for 1 on 0 for 1 in on field goals. Bill 9 of 17 for 93 yards. For Tuskegee, no touchdown, no interception, 1 sack. Lockhart 14 of 20, 257, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 sack. Morris 11 carries, 32 yards for Tuskegee. Miller 8 for 69. EJ Hall 3 for 39 for Tuskegee through the air. Paul 5 for 113 for the Tigers. Johnson led the Tigers with 7 tackles. Tackle for loss. Kimber 2.5. He also had a sack. Forced fumble was by Smith. Interception was by Crawford. Jackson State was led by Quincy Ivory with 7 tackles. He also had 2 tackles for loss, along with Reed Pulliam, who also had 2 tackles for loss. Brown had the sack. Interceptions, none. So basically, like I said, this was, the Jared Lockhart show. Good first outing for him. We'll see how this situation develops. But Jackson State did what they needed to do in this game. Nothing fancy. Just get in, get out, and get it over with. And that's basically what they did. So good win for them. against a team who didn't necessarily look the greatest coming into this game, but they were undefeated. So, you always have to take that into account. But good win for Jackson State there. As we move on to our next matchup, which is Alabama State taking on Miles. Hornets, 37-9 winners in this game. Wouldn't really challenge too much here. The score was 31-3 at the half, so they didn't really, have to push too much. They jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Brandon Gilliam 45-yard field goal with 11:16 left in the first quarter. Hornets led 3-0. Jalen Jones 35-yard pass from Andrew Body 10-0. 8:48 left in the first. Reed Grech got a 47-yard field goal for the Bears with 14:54 left in the second quarter, 10-3. Jalen Jones, a 61-yard touchdown pass from Andrew Body, 17-3. They came with 14:32 left in the second quarter, 11:03 in the second quarter. Ajay Harrell, 40-yard pass from Body, 24-3. And then Dylan DeJeet, 15-yard pass from Body with 54 seconds left in the half. Extra point good, 31-3. Roderick Thomas got a 2-yard run for Miles with 11:31 left in the third quarter. Extra point no good, 31-9. And then Bama State got 2 Abu Akel field goals, one from 25 yards out with 10:02 left in the fourth quarter, and another from 46 yards out with 2:50 left in the game, who made the final score 37-9. As Bama State basically dominated this game. 19 first down for Miles, 17 for Bama State, 73 yards on the ground for Miles, 42 plays, 1.7 yard per carry, 1 touchdown, 130 on the ground for Bama State, 27 carries, 4.8 yard per carry, no touchdowns. Miles, 165 through the air, 19 of 30, no touchdown, no interceptions. Bama State, 277, 16 of 20, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. 238 yards of offense for the Bears, 72 plays, 3.3 yard per play, no fumbles. They had 857 yards, 407 total offense for the Hornets, 47 plays. They had 8.7 yard per play, 1 fumble, didn't lose it. They had 8 penalties for 57 yards, 6 punts for a 32-yard average for Miles, 2 for 35 for the Hornets, 36-56 time possession for the Bears, 7 of 16 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, 2 of 2 in the red zone. They had 1 sack, 0 for 1 on extra points, and 1 of 1 on field goals. 23-04 time possession for the Hornets, 3 of 9 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, 2 of 3 in the red zone. They had 2 sacks, 4 of 4 extra points, and 3 of 3 on field goals. Individually, Vanderveer, 18 of 29 for Miles, 163 yards. No touchdown, no interception, 3 sacks. Body 14 of 16, 251 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 1 sack. Thomas 16 carries for Miles, 55 yards and a touchdown. Body 7 for 60 to lead the Hornets. Dobbs 4 for 40 for the Bears. Jones 4 for 118 and 2 touchdowns. Pritchett led Miles with 5 tackles. He also led the team with 2 tackles for loss. Sack went to Marbury. Bama State was led by Lewis with 8 tackles. Lenore also had 8 tackles. Lewis Joyner, Watson, Patterson, Ford, Lovett, John Lewis, all had tackles for loss. Watson, Jarrett, Mangle, and Joyner each had a half a sack apiece. Interceptions, none, forced fumbles, none. But like I said, this was one of those games where the Hornets just took care of business. They just did what they needed to do, and they got it in, and got out. No need to fool around with these guys. Let them hang around, and just make the game look better than it could have been. None of that. Obviously, the score probably could have been a ton worse, but they did everything that they needed to do to operate in a winning manner. So I think this team is doing a solid job of taking care of business moving forward, and you can't ask for much more than that. Next up, this game was I thought this game would be a tight affair. I thought it would be kind of ugly for a little while, but this game was really dicey, man. FAMU defeated Albany State 33-25. It looked like the Rams were gonna kind of pull away. It looked like they were gonna pull away early as they jumped out to a 14, basically a 14-3 first half lead before FAMU scored, made the halftime score 14-10. FAMU would then jump up to a 23-14 lead before Albany State would cut it to 6 at 23-17. Uh, FAMU would score 10 points to go up 33-17 before a late touchdown from Albany State would make the score 33-25, and that would basically be the final score. Weiss would get the Rams on the board first with a 1 yard run, extra point no good, 9:32 left in the first quarter. Portal, 48-yard field goal for FAMU with 7:03 left in the first. That made the score 6-3. Thomas, 10-yard run for the Rams, came with 12:21 left in the second quarter, 14-3 after the 2-point conversion. Thad Franklin, 5:13 left in the half. He would get a 4-yard run for the Rattlers, extra point good, 14-10. Coming out of the half, 14:42 left in the third quarter. Kanari Wilcher, 71-yard pass from R.J. Johnson, extra point good, 17-14. Haley, 12-yard pass from Johnson, came with 12:03 left in the third, extra point no good, 23-14. Wright got a 38-yard field goal for the Rams. Mexico 23-17. Porto will get a 23-yard field goal for FAMU with 5 minutes left in the third, 26-17. Thad Franklin will get another 5-yard touchdown run with 7:24 left in the game, extra point good, 33-17. And then Williams, 25-yard pass from Knowles, 2-point conversion was good, 33-25. And basically, that would be it. But take a last look at the final drive chart after FAMU would get the ball after they scored and basically would run the clock out. So they got the ball with 8 plays and 4 minutes and ran the clock out. Albany State didn't have another chance to do anything after that. So good closeout drive for FAMU to wrap that game up and get it over with. 21 first down for Albany State, 26 for FAMU, 120 on the ground for the Rams, 26 carries, 4.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 91 yards for FAMU, 34 carries, 2.7 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. That running game is still not there like I thought it would be. 201 through the air for the Rams, 17-31, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 371 through the air for FAMU, 26-36, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. 321 total offense for the Rams, 57 plays, 5.6 yards per play. They had 1 fumble and lost it. 6 penalties for 42 yards. FAMU 462 on 70 plays, 6.6 yards per play, no fumbles. 11 penalties for 102 yards. That'll hurt you all the time. Rams put it 2 times for 39.5-yard average. Rattlers 2 times for 34.5-yard average. 25:02 time of possession for the Rams, 6 of 11 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down, 3 of 5 in the red zone. They had 3 sacks. No 0 for 1 on extra points and 1 or 2 on field goals. 9 of 14 for FAMU on third down, 34-58 time of possession, 1 of 1 on fourth downs, 4 of 5 in the red zone. They had 2 sacks, 3 or 4 on extra points, and 2 for 2 on field goals. Individually, the Rams were led by Isaiah Knowles, 17-31, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception, 2 sacks. Johnson, 17-22, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 3 sacks. Thomas led the Rams with 9 carries for 52 yards and a touchdown. Franklin, 15 for 76 and 2 touchdowns. Williams, 5 for 74 and a touchdown for the Rams. Wilcher, 5 for 121 and a touchdown for the Rattlers. Foster led Albany State with 11 tackles. Clint Scale and Jones each had a tackle for loss apiece. Clint Scales had a sack. Interception was by Carr. FAMU was led by Sanders with 6 tackles. He also had 2 tackles for loss to lead the defense. He also had a sack to lead the defense. Collier had a forced fumble. Recovery by Villiers. No interceptions. Albany State was game, man. They gave it everything they had, and FAMU was able to take those punches and kind of pull it out and you know kind of made it happen at the end. So I mean, that's a good win. I mean, when like coming into this game, a lot of people even doubted FAMU on winning this game. So they were able to withstand that, and you kind of figured the game was gonna be close, but all in all, FAMU was able to pick up a hard fought win and get their first win of the season. Speaking of hard fought games, Grambling really had a battle with Kentucky State. Kentucky State had this game for a while. Grambling kind of got back into it. Kentucky State made some plays. Down the stretch, I think they had some decisions that maybe they shouldn't have made, but Grambling did what they needed to do. I thought the offense clicked at the end, and the defense got the big turnover at the end to win the game for them. As the Tigers won 37-31 in overtime. Um, Kentucky State went up 14-0 after Dylan Johnson had a 3-yard run with 8:23 left in the first quarter. Extra point was good, 7-0. Chad Elsie had a 6-yard run with 2:21 left in the first quarter, 14-7 at the extra point. Josh McCormick will get Grambling on the board with a 23-yard field goal, 14-3. They came with 12:18 left in the second. Keith Jones had a 12-yard pass with T-set. Extra point good, 14-10. They came with 8:39 left in the half. John McCall, 11-yard pass from Johnson, 21-10 out of the extra point with 2:13 left in the half. T-set 13-yard run with a minute and 12 seconds left in the half. That made it score 21-17, which would be the halftime score. 3:51 left in the third quarter. Jones caught a 36-yard pass from T-set. Grambling took a 24-21 lead. Darius Cyprian will get a 33-yard pass from Bardell. Extra point was good. Kentucky State retook the lead 28-24. That came with 7:18 left in the game. A minute and 55 left in the game. Leland Gantz kicked a 43-yard field goal for Thoroughbreds, 31-24. And then with 10 seconds on the clock, T-set 17-yard touchdown run. Extra point good, 31-31. And then in overtime, Tyrell Raby would get a 83-yard scoop and score for Grambling to win the game, 37-31. Offense never had to take the field in overtime. That's the best way to win, to get it over with. 18 first down for Kentucky State, 23 for Grambling. 135 yards on the ground for the Thoroughbreds, 35 carries, 3.9 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. 230 on the ground for Grambling, 36 carries, 6.4 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. 221 through the air for Kentucky State, 20 or 30, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 228 through the air for Grambling, 13 or 27, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 356 total offense for Kentucky State, 65 plays, 5.5 yards per play. They fumbled once and lost it, which was the one to lose the game. 9 penalties for 50 yards. Grambling 458 total offense, 63 plays, 7.3 yards per play, 1 fumble and lost it. 8 penalties, 76 yards. 5 punts for Kentucky State for 49-yard average. Grambling 3 for 36. 32-55 time possession for Kentucky State, 7 of 15, 1-on-1 on fourth down, 3 or 4 in the red zone, no sacks, 4 or 4 on extra points, 1 for 1 on field goals. Grambling 27-05 time possession, 7 of 13, 1 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down, 4 or 5 in the red zone, 2 sacks, 4 or 4 extra points, and 1 for 2 on field goals. Individually, Kentucky State was led by Johnson going 15 of 24, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception, 1 sack. T-set 13 of 27, 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, no interception, no sacks, 228 yards. Middleton led Kentucky State with 14 carries for 65 yards. T-Set 9 for 99 and 2 touchdowns. McCall 8 for 81 and a touchdown for Kentucky State. Jones 3 for 96 for Grambling and 2 touchdowns. Human led Kentucky State with 9 tackles. Woods 1 tackle for loss. McCall had a fumble recovery. Grambling was led by Lenzer with 6 tackles. Also, Raby has 6 tackles, and Robinson has 6 tackles. Robinson had 1.5 tackles for loss. Cage 2.5 to lead the defense. They both had 1 sack apiece. Raby forced fumble and a fumble recovery. So, like I said, this was a game that was probably a lot closer than it needed to be. Kentucky State ultimately seemed like they ran out of gas toward the end, but Grambling continued to push. And I thought T-Set made some great plays on the ground, especially for Grambling, especially on that last drive. They really took advantage of a lot of open opportunities that Kentucky State gave them, and they made the plays to win. And ultimately, the defense got their turnover that they needed, and they got the touchdown to win that game. So, pretty much what you would expect from Grambling in terms of forcing turnovers, which is something I thought would happen more in this game. But you know, Kentucky State just they were just able to hang around. I don't know how much more they would have had in the tank. I don't know if the defense would have been able to get a stop if they were to score. And I don't know if it went to another overtime, they would have had the legs to keep going. I think they wore down. Grambling was able to just stay the course and not and just not piss it away, so to speak. So I thought they did a good job there. Next up is Pine Bluff taking on Lincoln. This game was honestly it was a little bit of a struggle for Pine Bluff. They moved the ball extremely well in this game, but it took them a while to start scoring. They led 13-8 at the half. Ultimately, they would score 21 points in the second half. One touchdown in the one touchdown in the third quarter, 2 in the fourth, all by Jalen Jennings. He scored all 40. He scored 4 of their 5 touchdowns in this game. So he had a big game for them. Kareem Burke also had a touchdown on a 53-yard pass from Christian Peters. Jennings had a 21-yard touchdown run, a 16-yard run, a 25-yard run, and an 11-yard run. Rodney Washington got Lincoln on the board with a block punt. So they were able to score there, but didn't really do a lot offensively in this one. Oakland 12 first downs, 33 for Pine Bluff, 36 yards on the ground for Lincoln, 324 for Pine Bluff, 145 through the air for Lincoln, 201 for Pine Bluff, 181 yards for the Oaklanders, 52, 525 for the Golden Lions. As we're gonna move through these games pretty rapidly. Uh, Peters, 14 of 23, 182 yards. Jennings had 226 yards on 26 carries and 4 touchdowns. Huge game for him. Burke, 4 for 80 and a touchdown. And like I said, it was just, this game could have been worse score wise, but for whatever reason, Pine Bluff just couldn't put the points on the board. Even though they moved the ball, they had like over 300 yards in the first half, but they just couldn't muster the points. They couldn't really finish drives. And it, they ultimately just fought and found a way to finish it out. Next up is Rice defeating Prairie View 38-17. They were tied at 7 early before um, Rice was able to rip off 17 points in the first half to go into the half up 24-7. They will ultimately go 31-7 early in the third before Prairie View was able to get on the board with a field goal to make it 31-10. Rice was scored with 5:40 left in the game to go 38-7, to go 38-10 before Prairie View will get a touchdown with 1:41 to make it score 38-17. Prairie View was, they played a physical game early. I mean, Rice ran the ball 60 times in this game for 347 yards. And when teams run the ball on you like that, you're ultimately gonna start to wear down. And that was the difference in this game. Rice on their rushing attack, they didn't really have to throw it a lot. They threw the ball 19 times. Prairie View, 251 yards of offense on the night. Um, no turnovers, so that's good. Um, but they just got beat up in the time of possession. Um, and Rice was able to do a lot of things that they needed to do to get this one in their favor. It looked like I said, it looked like Prairie View was gonna be able to hang around, but you just can't really um, you just can't rely on an option type team to start to get that momentum going, and that's basically what happened here, as they were able to get the victory. Um, Alcorn would take on Mississippi State, and again, not a pretty game here, as the Braves went down 63 to nothing. Uh, 28 points first quarter for Mississippi State, 14 in the second. So they went into the half up 42 to nothing, and then they would score um, 21 points in the second half to basically extend that lead. Alcorn never really got anything going. That rushing attack finished with 68 yards, 87 passing, 155 total offense. They did have three turnovers. Alcorn did, two fumbles and a interception. Mississippi State finished with 514 yards of offense. Um, they ran the ball for 282. Excuse me. They ran for 282, threw for 232. 514 total offense, did basically whatever they wanted to do. Alcorn had the ball for 43 minutes and 7 seconds in this game. Mississippi State took advantage of every opportunity that they had to score in this one. Bulldogs only punted one time at that, so they never really were in any danger of not being able to complete drive. Um, Nothing really stands out for Alcorn in this game. Um, Statistically, this wasn't an outlandish game for Mississippi State either. They didn't have anybody just go crazy on an individual level. They did a lot of stuff on a team level, and that basically was what got this one for them. And they picked up the win there. Final game, which was the latest game of the night. Southern went out to Fresno and came back with a beating, as they were defeated by Fresno State by a score of 56-7. Bulldogs scored 28 points in both halves. Um, they scored 35 points in the first half and 21 in the second, as they were able to just basically jump out to a 14-0 lead. We're up 21-0 before Southern got a Trey Holly touchdown with 5:41 left in the half to make it 21-7. Bulldogs would add on two more touchdowns in the first half before they would score once in the third and twice in the fourth to kind of just really, blow this one open. Um, Again, they did a great job on Southern rushing attack, held Southern to 11 yards on the ground. Southern only ran the ball 27 times, as they really did not run a lot of plays in this game. Southern only ran 45 plays here, so they did not have the ball much at all. 282 yards through the air for the Bulldogs, 225 on the ground for them. They finished with 507 to compare to Southern's 142. Bulldogs ran 71 plays to Southern's 45. Um, Southern had a fumble, but they didn't lose it. It don't look like. So no turnovers. If you want to take anything from it, Southern did have 12 penalties for 91 yards. That's not going to help you in a game like this at all. Bulldogs 8 of 10 on third down. Southern 3 of 12. Southern did register a sack in the game, but they just really couldn't get anything going here. Warner 240 yards for the Bulldogs and 4 touchdowns. Daniel Donaldson had 90 yards for them on the ground. And just just a dominant game for Fresno State, as they took care of business against Southern and picked up a pretty easy win, sending Southern into the bye week, looking for some answers. Uh, let's take a quick look at week 4. There's not a lot of games on the schedule for week 4. Um, as I said before, we got SWAC play starting on the 27th of September. Everybody's in action then. A lot of people are off this week. Uh, there's only 4 games on the schedule, so 8 teams are off this week. Bethune-Cookman hosts Edward Waters. Their game is at 2 o'clock. Lane is at Alabama A&M. Their game is 6 o'clock. East Texas A&M is at Grambling, also a 6 o'clock kick. And Northwestern State is at Prairie View. That's a 6 o'clock kick. So not a lot of football on September 20th. Um, none of these games are particularly intriguing in terms of in terms of storyline and anything, but there's some potential games that could shape out the SWAC. If they play well, the SWAC could win all 4 of these games. So that's always a positive. But that's our week 3 preview. I mean week 3 recap. Excuse me. Um, Monday should be our for entertainment purposes only week 4 edition. And Wednesday is our week 4 preview. Thursday SWAC smoke. Sunday week 4 recap. I'm tour guide around the SWAC Seawells signing out. Catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.